First, let's pay homage to the Venerable Monk Liao Ming. Homage to Master Sakya Zhengkong. Homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa. And homage to Master Tupten Tarshi. Homage to the three jewels of the altar. And homage to the main deity of Homa today, the High King Kuan Yin Bodhisattva, the High King Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva. Simu Danzhen Gyatso Rinpoche. All Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma instructors, Dharma assistants, directors of temples and chapters, all disciples present here and over the internet. And our participating VIPs today are the Madam to Ambassador Daniel Liao, the Taipei rep to Sweden, Dharma Sister Judy, the accountant to the school, Dharma Sister Teresa, producers for the Canadian Sangshinten from CTI TV Taiwan, Dharma Sister Rebecca Xiaqi, Dr. Zhou Heng, Dr. Ryan Zhuang and Mrs. Zhuang, and the family of Master Lian Ning, and a member of the Voices from Heaven Choir Group, Dharma Sister Erica Chen, and the rep to the Council of Taipei, Miss Hui Ling, and the daughter of the former Council of Kaohsiung, Dharma Sister Wu Meixian, and the head of the chapter in Sweden, Dharma Sister Liu, and Dr. Liu Jie from Sweden, and Dr. Luo from Sweden. Members from the Sunny Line Dance Group, Dharma Sister Lin Yixuan and Dr. Gao. Good afternoon, everybody. How do you do? Next Sunday is the annual Sea Fair in Seattle. It was called Sea Fair before, now we call it the Dragon Festival. And it's written here to invite Grandmaster and Simu to go to the True Buddha Seattle chapter. Today is the High King Kuan Yin Bodhisattva's home. I personally felt that the home at this time is extremely superior. So how many Kuan Yin Bodhisattvas came today? It was countless, impossible to count, innumerable. At first, I had the vision of the High King Kuan Yin Bodhisattva. And then, following her were the three heavenly goddesses, which is the 3 goddesses who can provide spiritual consultation. And then I saw the 7 Buddhas in the sky. And of the 7 Buddhas, one of them is Sakyamuni Buddha, the founder of Buddhism on earth. And all the Buddhas of the past, all the Buddhas of the present, and all the Buddhas of the future, and all the Bodhisattvas of the past, of the present, and of the future, and all their retinues descended. So all Buddhas of the 3 times in the 10 directions, all of them descended. It's real and true. It's very real. And then there are innumerable protectors and other divine beings. So the 7 past Buddhas are the Vipashin, Shikin, Visvabhu, Krakuchandra, Kanakamuni, Kashyapa, and Sakyamuni. They all descended. So the 7 past Buddhas. And then the Dharma Prince of the 7 Buddhas too descended. And the mudra for High King Kuan Yin Bodhisattva, it's the internal turning of the Dharma Wheel mudra, and the external turning, the Dharma Wheel mudra. These are the 2 mudras, this or this. These are the mudras of High King Kuan Yin Bodhisattva. And she's truly beautiful, as you can see. Very dignified. The one that I saw, the celestial garments have mantras on it. All the important mantras are on her garment. This statue is in color. Very beautiful. And her mantra is the mantra of the 7 Buddhas. And she's wearing the crown of 7 Buddhas, and the face like a moon, and her hand forms the Dharma teaching mudra, and the left hand forms the mudra of equality. She's wearing a multi-layered celestial garment with 7 Buddha mantra on it. As I said, the important mantras of the 7 Buddhas are on her outfit. And she wears all kinds of ornaments, necklaces, earrings, bracelets, anklets. And she is on a rainbow-colored lotus, and on her back there are 5 gold sacred syllables, and her entire body emits a bright, brilliant light throughout, shining throughout all the worlds. So High King Kuan Yin Sutra has great origin. And the Hiking Guanyin Sutra also has a great origin. It mentioned about all the Buddha's name, including the countless Buddhas. It's impossible to count all the Buddhas, the innumerable Buddhas. Just the trillions bodhisattvas of the clear, cool mountain, that's already uncountable, like all the Buddhas. And also the billions of clear, cool. And then all the past Buddhas, which is Tingguang Buddha, that's the same as Dipamkara. That's earlier than Sakyamuni Buddha. At that time, Sakyamuni Buddha was only the Sanhui youth. And Dipamkara is the Buddha of the past. And the present Buddha is Sakyamuni Buddha. And the future Buddha is Maitreya Buddha. So it includes all the Buddhas of the 3 times. And also all the Bodhisattvas are included in the Hiking Guanyin Sutra. It includes all Buddha's epithets. And the incredible one of the 4 Guanyin Bodhisattvas, the Great Wisdom Guanyin, the Observant Guanyin, the Noble Guanyin, the Expansively Minded Guanyin. And then there are the rarely found Bodhisattvas, which is the Medicine King Bodhisattva and the Supreme Medicine Bodhisattva. So as soon as you hear the name of the Medicine King Bodhisattva and Supreme Medicine Bodhisattva, just by hearing their names, they can extend our lifespan. And I didn't say this. This is written in the sutras. Anyone hearing the name of the Medicine King Bodhisattva and Supreme Medicine Bodhisattva, he or she can extend their lifespans. So Hiking Guanyin Bodhisattva has countless merits. We often say, by completing 1,000 recitations, all the heavy karma or heavy sins can be eradicated. Because the mantra that we recite is the karma eradication mantra of the 7 Buddhas. So it's written in there, by completing 1,000 recitations of the sutra, you can eradicate all the heavy karma. So the Hiking Guanyin Sutra. You should recite it. Some people are in the opinion of not reciting the Hiking Guanyin Sutra, even those in the Buddhist fields. Please don't listen to them. Why? Because inside the sutra, they are just names of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are the past, present, and future, and billions of Bodhisattvas in there. And it mentioned about the Pure Land on earth, which is the clear, cool mountain, and the same as Mount Wutai in China. So I have been to China, and most importantly is to visit the Mount Wutai. Once I visited Mount Wutai, I am very content because Mount Wutai was the only Pure Land on earth that was spoken by Sakyamuni Buddha, and it's also called the Clear Cool Mountain. And the spiritual center of Samantabhadra Bodhisattva is the Mount Ermi in Sichuan province in China. I didn't visit there. And also the Mount Putuo in Zhejiang province is the spiritual center of Guan Yin Bodhisattva, which I have never visited. And also the Mount Jiuhua of Anhui province is the spiritual center of Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva, which I have never visited. So these three spiritual centers were added by later people. But in the Buddhist Sutra, the only one mentioned was the Clear Cool Mountain, which is the Mount Wutai, the spiritual center of Manjushri Bodhisattva. And over there are billions of bodhisattvas. So I prostrated all the way from the peak to the bottom. So I made prostrations, I paid homage to all the temples. Master Lian Ning and Simu and Master Chan's, two of them. So I paid homage all the way from the peak to the bottom and not missing any single temple. And during this time there was a monk following me and making the prostrations together with me on my side. And I have written it in my book. I have written about it in my book. Although he wasn't waiting for me for 500 years, but he said, it's been so many years and all I have been waiting for is you, is someone like you. When I heard that, I found he's extraordinary. He's not just an ordinary monk. I took some renminbi and give him $100. And I thought maybe he was following me for money. I give him 100 renminbi and he didn't accept it. So I thought maybe it's too little. So I told everyone, why don't you take some? And they all give some renminbi to me, a stack of them, I don't know how much, and I offered it to him, and he's also rejected it. So he didn't want to accept my renminbi. Not the 100, or maybe 10,000 renminbi, he also didn't accept it. And later on, we were just making some sign languages. And I asked the other monks, have you seen a monk as I described? And nobody never seen or knew of such monk. And after I came back, I consulted spiritually, and I was told that that was a transformation of Manjushri Bodhisattva. He was the transformation of Manjushri Bodhisattva. So that trip to China was really worthy, that I visited Mount Wutai, the greatest clear cool mountain as spoken by Sakyamuni Buddha. And it's mentioned in the Hiking Guan Yin Sutra that this is the billions of bodhisattvas of the clear, cool treasure mountain. In the Hiking Kuan Yin Sutra, it includes all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, many of them. So check on it. So the 500 Buddhas and the tens of thousands Buddhas, the 1500 Buddhas, 15,000 Buddhas, and the 10 billion Vajra treasury Buddhas, 500 flower victory Buddhas. So they're not even. And in the Hiking Kuan Sutra, there's the 10 billion Vajra treasuries Buddhas. So the future 1,000 Buddhas, 1,500 Buddhas, 15,000 Buddhas, the 500 Buddhas, and the countless Buddhas. All the countless Buddhas. You know, I recite the Hiking Kuan Yin Sutra every single day, never missing a day. Because I believe that it can eliminate the suffering of life and death, and to eradicate all harms and poisons. So anyone trying to harm me can be eradicated. And it can also annihilate the suffering of life and death. That's incredible, that it can eradicate the suffering of birth and death. And then you would reach the realm of no birth and no death, and then that is fruition. I asked many people to recite the Hiking Kuan Yin Sutra because I highly venerate Hiking Kuan Yin Bodhisattva. She's the Kuan Yin that I most venerate. So that's why I also highly venerate the Hiking Kuan Yin Sutra. And this is all real. At the Jade Emperor Temple, the Golden Mother opened my divine eye. And the abbot there is called the reference Zuhui, a monk. But actually at the Jade Emperor Temple, there was no ordained monk. But this monk said, because he esteemed heaven and earth, so that's why he served at the Jade Emperor Temple. So there are many other Buddhist monks that discouraged him to serve at the Taoist temple, but he did. And Golden Mother opened my divine eye, and this Venerable Si Huiling gave me this Hiking Kuan Yin Sutra, the first sutra that I encountered. And from then on, I started to recite the Hiking Kuan Yin Sutra because I believe those 10 Chinese words, that it can eradicate the suffering of birth and death and can free you from all kinds of harms and poisons. At the Jade Emperor Temple, I was brought to the heavenly realm, and I met Padmakumara. I did not know what Padmakumara is all about, but she pointed to a very bright, brilliant light, And she said that this is Padma Kumara, the white Mahapadma Kumara. I couldn't see his face. It's pure white, bright light, shining, sparkling. And then he appeared, and Golden Mother told me, this is the lotus youth, Padma Kumara, your past life, and you are an emanation of Padma Kumara. Because I personally heard it myself and personally saw it until I saw the Mahatwin lotus ponds. And then later on, I discovered that during dynasty there had been children songs and rhymes about Padma Kumara. The Padma Kumara met the golden sage. That the showers of flowers left and right, and the marvelous sounds heard beyond the clouds, and the bliss is way above all the heavens. And Padma Kumara was emanated by Amitabha Buddha. And he's at the Mahatwin lotus ponds that's pure and innocent, and also billions emanations of it. So then I knew that Padma Kumara was real. They really exist. And this term, Lianhua Tongzi, lotus youth, came from China. It was the term that had been used at the Donghuang grottos in China, and not in Taiwan. Lianhua Tongzi, in many of Donghuang's grottos, there are many Padma Kumaras, lotus youth and lotus youth Buddhas and lotus Buddhas. And the mudra that they're holding is the same as what the Buddha taught me. The same, the lotus holding mudra and the Dharma teaching mudra. They are forming the same mudras. Dharma sister Rebecca Shiachi brought Taijin to go to the Museum of Science in Taichung to see the exhibition of the Donghuang grottos, and she saw many Padma Kumaras. And Taijin pointed to a Buddha, and that's Padma Kumara. So, and that Padma Kumara formed the lotus holding mudra and the Dharma teaching mudra. So that's Padma Kumara. So Padma Kumara is also a Buddha. So please don't undermine yourself. Of course, the worship of Padma Kumara started with me. And prior to my mentioning of Padma Kumara, no one else did. But after I started to mention Padma Kumara, the people start to talk about it, or him. So think about it. And today, there is someone who claimed that she's also Padma Kumara, and yet she had a different Pure Land. So how could she be a Padma Kumara then? Because all Padma Kumaras have the same Pure Land, which is the Mahatwin lotus ponds. all that has all Padma Kumaras of all colors. How could there be a Padma Kumara who jumped out of it, who left the Pure Land? I almost sell the True Buddha school, who abdicated. What fell? A banner. Of course, because I said the right thing, so it fell. I heard through the grapevine that Lien En, how do you say that, Lien En? Reverend Lien En was with us here, and she told me that X had a secret letter from Grandmaster, that I wrote the secret letter to X. So Reverend Lien En asked X, so what's written on the secret letter? And X told her that in the letter it's written that in the future the successorship and lineage transmission would be given to X. And Lien En said, well, show me the secret letter. And X replied, because it is secret, so I cannot show it to anyone. And X also told Reverend Lien Yen from Calgary, the one who sing English songs beautifully, that Grandmaster has appointed her to become the successor of True Buddha School. And then later on I announced that Master Lien Ning is the successor of True Buddha School. So she was really upset and told Reverend Lien Yen, there's karma in here, there's cause and effect, because in the past life, Simu was a queen. Simu in the past was a queen, and she had a child called Lien Ning. Lien Ning. This is what X said, not me, and not Buddhists and Bodhisattvas. X said this, that Simu was a queen before, but Master Lien Ning's mom is here. Simu was a queen and had a child called Lien Ning. And Simu always controlled Grandmaster, and Grandmaster is just a figurine. So Grandmaster was just a puppet, and Simu ordered me to have Lien Ning as a successor. So she is no longer successor. Because they are mother and son, so Simu is very nice to Lien Ning and asked me to appoint Lien Ning as the successor. So that's why I did not ask X to be the successor. Well, Simu never recommended Lien Ning to be the successor. But I wanted him to be the successor myself. Why? because Master Lien Yin is the abbot of the Rainbow Temple already. And Master De Hui is already the abbot of Seattle Temple. And Master Lien Ning is idle and has nothing to do. So he's always following me around. And he's been by my side the longest for a long time. Ever since he became a master, he's always following me around. So when I give spiritual consultation, he's helping by my side and hurt a lot. So I thought, the one that can truly serve me is just Master Lien Ning. There are many good masters far away that have done a lot of work, but the one that's always following on my side is Lien Ning. Most other masters are traveling around the globe, trotting the globe. They are all good masters, but he's the one that served his guru the longest. So for this particular reason, I appointed Master Lien Ning to be the successor. It's totally unrelated to the son of the queen. So the queen having the son. So Master Lien Ning, is it really the son of Simu? And they said no. And his mom is right here in this life. So isn't this a joke? Very funny, right? How can I let you? How can I have you in charge of the whole True Buddha school? And 10 years ago, you already made the statement that Grandmaster will die at 73. How could you do that? Is that polite? Is that ethical? That you've talked about it for 8 years, that at 73 I will die. You've talked about it for 8 years, and I didn't know. I asked Chun Hui, why didn't you tell me earlier? And she said, because this is not a good thing. Why do I want to tell you? But this inauspicious thing indeed came from her mouth 10 years ago. My sister, Lu Ni Ying, when we were little, we called her Do Re Mi. She's selling some Buddhist stuff. My youngest sister. And she always sell things at Buddhist ceremonies of True Buddha School. And one time, it was conducted by the X chapter. And then there was a referent that went to her, like, why are you setting up a stall here? And she said, why not? Right? Because I've made my payment, and this is True Buddha School ceremonies. And then the referent told her, do you know this is X ceremony? We are about to be independent. And this was 10 years ago. Long ago, we wanted to become independent. This is X ceremony. So they have been planning to separate themselves, to become independent even 10 years ago. So how could she be a Padma Kumara? Okay, let's not talk more about it. Hai King Kuan Yin Bodhisattva is compassionate and can let us transcend the suffering of birth and death and eliminate all harms and poisons. So please let us pass this the biggest obstruction, and we pray to Hai King Kuan Yin Bodhisattva to protect us. So now let me talk a little about Lamdre. What is the three divisions of the appearances? They are the impure, sense, and pure. So that's progressive here, progression. That's the three divisions of appearances. When we were just born, we are impure. We are born with karma from the past lives. That's impure. And then later on, you start to have some sensations, some perceptions and feelings that there are all kinds of sufferings in the world. That in this human world, no matter what, there's sufferings. The dad asks the son, "Who do you like most in this house?" Dad. And the dad asks the son, "In our family, who loves you most?" Dad. And then dad asks again, "Who are you closest with?" And the son replied, "Dad." "Why are you always saying nice things about me?" And the son replied, "Because I don't want you to beat me." When I was little, I was beaten by my dad. I grew up in an abusive family. I was beaten by my dad from small until high school. And when I started college, finally I left and I finally gained my freedom, like a little bird that can fly on its own, can fly freely. Why did my dad beat me? Why did my dad not recognize me? Just one reason, because he thought that I was not his son. Because I was born at 7-month pregnancy, so I was born prematurely. When I was born, my dad was very happy. "Oh, I have a son," and he told everybody. And then there was a relative that told him. His name is Walam. Told him, I still remember his name. "See, how many months have you married? 7 months. And how can you have a child after 7 months? So this child is not yours." My relative told him that. At that time, there was no DNA tests and those stuff. And from then on, he was in the opinion that I wasn't his son. So from then, I was always beaten by him. My teacher told me, "It's your birthday today. Go home and tell your parents." So I was very happy, and I got home and told them, "It's my birthday today." And my dad instead said, "Well, I was going to beat you today, but instead I will beat you tomorrow." That's how I grew up. But at the end, my dad took refuge in me. So life is full of suffering. So after suffering from this beating, I made the vow. I will never beat my children. So for Qi and for Qi, very fortunate. I never beat them because life is suffering. My life is full of suffering. I have suffered a lot. After graduating from high school, getting into college, my dad told me, there's no need to take exams for the college. Why? You should just earn money after high school. Just make a living. See, but I passed the test. No need, because we have no money for your schooling. So I didn't apply for universities. So I was the one who reject their invitations. And finally, my dad told me 2 choices. You go to the teacher's school, it's free. Or you go to the military school, it's also free. So I applied for the college, teacher's college. And out of 2,000 applicants, they only admit 40 people, 40 students. So I didn't pass. And then I applied for the military school and I got admitted. So those who passed the enrollment test and the acceptance letter was secretly kept by my dad, and he didn't tell me. And my mom secretly told me, you actually was accepted into the military school, so you can go there. But my dad told me that no, you can't, because there's no use, no future. You don't earn much money. You would know how much you will earn. There's no need, just go find work. So at that time I rebelled and showed my, I wanted to be a hoodlum, and acted very fiercely, very carelessly. I graduated from high school, so I was a little bit taller than my dad. So he's not tall, I'm not tall either. If he had beaten me, I would accept it. But all of a sudden he was scared of beating me because he thought maybe he would lose over me. Because I trained myself in the gymnastics, the single bar, double bar, and some athletes exercises and weightlifting. So my dad told me, oh, you wanted to become a hoodlum? In Chinese it's called tekia. Like a gangster, you know, a gangster. Or in Cantonese it's called tu ho zai. And he said, well, rather than you becoming a gangster, you can go to the military school. The happiness came too suddenly. So I went to study at the military school. And I became a military man for 14 years. 4 years in school and 10 years of service. And I earned my bachelor's degree. I was the survey engineer, and I left the military as a lieutenant mayor, or lieutenant colonel, major. So I suffered a lot, even in the military. So the three divisions of appearances, impure is the first one. So at first we are impure. And when I got to know Golden Mother, I knew that I had to cultivate spiritually, to learn the Taoism, to study Buddhism, because I had the vision of Padma Kumara and Mahatma in lotus ponds. And by this start of affinity, I started my Taoist and Buddhist studies. And then the sense appearance of the three divisions of the appearances. After my divine eye was open, I started to be very serious in my spiritual cultivation, and I started to have some senses. First is the senses from the qi, that when you extend your hands, the qi can go to the fingers, it can go to the ears, and then you can hear the marvelous celestial sounds. And when qi reaches the dantian, it warms. It feels warm. And qi reaches the fingers. Then you can consult. You can calculate. Then you can predict. When qi reaches the eyes, then you can see. So I started to have all this spiritual sensations, and I have the feeling of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas entering into me. So this is the sense appearance. It relies on the qi channels and light drops. And then you reach the pure appearances. Eventually you would become pure. And what is pure? When your spiritual cultivation reaches the realm of purity, all your karma is eradicated. When your karma is eradicated, you become pure and you can attain Buddhahood. A lady told the doctor, "See how I'm beaten by my husband. I don't want to live anymore." And the doctor said, "Don't worry, it's just external wounds. How about your husband? He doesn't accompany you here?" And the wife said, "Yeah, he's here too. He's on the... he's carried in." So in the fight, the wife won because the husband was carried in on the bed for emergency, and the wife is only suffering from light or external wounds. So see how marriage is suffering or not. Do you think marriage is suffering or not? I mean, how can there be no sufferings in a marriage? You have to be patient with each other in order to grow old together. It's impossible to get along. If you can get along, then you're sages, you're fairies. How can you get along? You're always really upset or mad inside. That when she nags, you just run away. Every time I hear Simu talks, I keep quiet and endure it. When she continues, I would stand up. And if she continues again, I'll just walk away. That's my way. But actually, Simu is already open heart. She's already very tolerant. She's very kind and gentle, and takes very good care of me. She's an incredible Simu. Because if you don't say this, then it would not do. So, suffering, lots of suffering in a marriage. Simu is never scared of me. The stronger I become, the stronger she gets. So I should just let her win, because I know her character. So I'm the one that's kind and gentle, like a little lamb. But frankly speaking, Simu is really capable, and she's capable to do everything. She's really excellent. The difference between a man and a woman. If a wife turns off her cell phone, and when she turned on the cell phone and she found 20 phone calls missed phone calls from the husband, she feels really happy. But if it happens to the husband, he would feel that, oh no, he's dead, right? Xiaoming said, Dad, if I'm first in class, what would you do? And Dad said, I would be really happy. And Xiaoming said, don't worry, I will not let you die so soon, because his dad said, I'm happy to death. So in a family, a couple with children, they already have so much sufferings. So how can a human life not full of suffering? Before spiritual cultivation, we are all impure. From karma from past lives, they're all impure. And then you realize, you have realizations, and you want to cultivate spiritually. And due to that, you finally reach purity. That's all for today. Om Mani Padme Hum.